August 9th, 2025, the Black Sea. When dawn broke, Odessa's coastline appeared peaceful, nearly serene. Yet underwater, 12 Russian submarines advanced silently through the depths. These submarines represented more than military vessels. They transported cargo deadlier than any torpedo. Concealed within their hulls were 600 elite Spetsnaz naval infantrymen. Their objective? Establish covert beachhead, assault a Ukrainian naval facility and capture it within 15 minutes. Without bombardment preparation, without supporting fires, pure infiltration, surprise, and rapid execution. Moscow considered this operation perfect, an ideal assault, completed before defenders could comprehend the threat. However, Russian intelligence failed to recognize that every meter of shoreline was already integrated into an unseen network of detectors, surveillance systems, and unmanned aircraft. Ukraine had transformed this peaceful Black Sea sector into a lethal killing field. Within 40 minutes, the hunters would transform into targets. Submarines sunk, personnel seized, billions in naval assets converted to seafloor debris. This chronicles how a supposedly perfect strategy devolved into catastrophe, among the swiftest and most devastating reversals of the entire conflict. According to Moscow's assessment, this operation represented perfection, swift, covert, inevitable. Russian naval strategy had consistently emphasized Spetsnaz penetration capabilities. Compact, specialized formations achieving undetected insertion to compromise defensive positions internally. The Black Sea, featuring its pronounced thermocline characteristics, provided ideal concealment conditions. Every submarine among the 12 represented a Kilo-class diesel-electric platform, exceeding 110 meters in length and weighing over 7,000 tons. Their collective value reached approximately $5 billion. Under standard configuration, these platforms transported complete caliber cruise missile complements, each weapon possessing 1,500-kilometer engagement range. However, this particular mission required deliberate firepower reduction. Space requirements necessitated removing 5 missiles per vessel. Their replacement, something Moscow deemed more conclusive, personnel. Internally, 50 naval Spetsnaz specialists occupied cramped quarters. Individual equipment loads exceeded 35 kilograms. AK-12 assault rifles equipped with sound suppressors, GP-25 grenade attachment systems, edged weapons, secure communication devices, and night observation equipment. Combined, these 600 operators represented training expenditures surpassing $20 million. Mission parameters remained explicit. Establish position precisely 3.2 kilometers from the Ukrainian installation, achieve infiltration under 15 minutes, and secure control before defensive reactions commenced. Target selection followed meticulous analysis. Coastal terrain appearing vacant, lacking visible defensive preparations, and featuring natural concealment opportunities. Russian intelligence concluded defenders would face numerical disadvantage and suffer overwhelming assault before sunrise. Methodology remained systematic. Submarine formations maintained 6-knot advance speeds, exploiting Black Sea thermocline properties for sonar masking. Periscope systems stayed submerged. Communication protocols enforced absolute silence. First wave surface operations scheduled for 0540 a.m. Inflatable assault craft would transport 5-person teams shoreward, maintaining dispersed advance patterns. Subsequent forces would follow in sequential waves, expanding inland like phantoms. Moscow viewed this as flawless strategy. Silent penetration demonstrating Russian superiority. Reality revealed every component had been predicted. Russian forces assumed they approached unprotected shoreline. However, what Moscow interpreted as vacant geography actually constituted among Eastern Europe's most sophisticated defensive installations. Previously, Ukraine, supported by NATO resources, had deployed an $85 million detection and monitoring network surrounding its southern coastal installations. Unlike conventional barriers featuring wire obstacles or concrete fortifications, this arrangement remained concealed, engineered for detection without visibility. Underground, over 240 vibration and movement sensors established a 1-kilometer perimeter. Individual detectors, calibrated for detecting footfall, ground disturbances, or motion as minimal as 0.2 meters per second. All information transmitted to centralized radar coordination. Surface installations included 14 observation towers arranged in interlocking coverage patterns. Each position mounted thermal imaging capable of identifying human signatures at 200-meter distances. Combined coverage created continuous surveillance, eliminating blind zones and coverage gaps. System capabilities extended beyond ground installations. Overhead operations included PD-2 reconnaissance drones and compact portable UAVs maintaining constant patrols. These platforms transcended simple aerial cameras. Integrated AI systems automatically identified potential threats, monitored movements, and refreshed mapping data every 5 seconds. At 05:42 a.m., merely 2 minutes following initial Russian ground contact with Ukrainian territory, the network activated. Radar displays revealed faint contacts appearing individually, subsequently dozens. Within seconds, computer analysis confirmed multiple penetrations, heavily equipped, advancing rapidly. Command center operations involved 6 radar technicians focusing intently on illuminated displays, refreshing every 3 seconds. Confirmation remained absolute. Russia's Phantom Force had entered the detection perimeter. Response remained controlled. No shouting occurred, no panic developed. The watch officer contacted headquarters, transmitted the assessment, and the Ukrainian commander issued one directive: maintain position, initialize containment. Immediately, defenders assumed positions. Riflemen occupied prepared, concealed positions. PKM machine gun teams repositioned quietly, establishing interlocking fire zones. Designated marksmen calibrated thermal optics. Simultaneously, 10 BTR-4E armored personnel carriers maneuvered to flanking positions, engines muffled, prepared to prevent Russian withdrawal toward the sea. From above, drones descended to reduced altitude, transmitting infrared imagery to commanders every 5 seconds. Every Russian movement now faced monitoring. Every action recorded. Moscow's perfect strategy had encountered Ukraine's invisible barrier. The predators were advancing into a killing zone they couldn't perceive. At 05:47 a.m., the initial Russian squad achieved the tree line. They assumed invisibility, advancing low, weapons ready, formation maintained. The strategy appeared successful from their perspective. Their awareness lacked recognition that thermal optics had already acquired them. From concealed positions, Ukrainian marksmen monitored every movement. Crosshairs tracked helmets and weapons with lethal accuracy. The quiet exploded instantly. One shot, subsequently another. 2 Russian personnel collapsed, deceased, before reaction was possible. Terror spread through the squad. They dispersed, returning fire randomly into the vegetation. Then, the genuine ambush commenced. From dual flanks, concealed PKM machine guns erupted, weaving red tracers throughout the dark landscape. Projectiles penetrated grass, earth, and personnel alike. Complete Russian fire teams fell before identifying the source. Above, PD-2 drones transmitted live targeting information. Every 5 seconds, updated coordinates reached Ukrainian mortar crews. Shortly, 82mm mortars commenced falling, striking Russian formations with devastating precision. Explosions illuminated the shoreline like electrical storms. Spetsnaz attempted reorganization, responding with AK-12 rifles and GP-25 grenade launchers. However, their fire disappeared into darkness, striking nothing. Each pause resulted in additional sniper casualties. At 05:51 a.m., 4 BTR-4E armored vehicles advanced from the northern tree line. Their 30mm autocannons delivered continuous fire, destroying Russian cover.
Infantry squads dismounted, deploying in controlled formations, contracting the encirclement. The Russian commander transmitted desperate backup requests. None existed. Radio silence remained enforced. Submarines remained concealed, their personnel isolated. By 05:54 a.m., Ukrainian defenders achieved complete dominance. The ambush area was sealed. Claymore mines concealed in undergrowth detonated as Russians attempted withdrawal, destroying entire squads instantly. Survivors retreated toward the shore, discovering their inflatable boats already burning, eliminated by pre-registered artillery. Initially, Spetsnaz recognized reality. They weren't hunters. They constituted bait. Under 10 minutes, the elite assault force had suffered nearly 1/3 casualties. Surrounded, isolated, and under continuous fire, they were being directed toward the sea. Offshore, Ukraine had prepared the concluding strike.
At 5:58 a.m., Russian submarines assumed their mission proceeded successfully. Quiet, submerged at periscope depth, they awaited confirmation that their Spetsnaz naval infantry had secured the beachhead. Instead, disaster approached. Through encrypted communications came incomplete transmissions, weapons fire, desperate voices, then silence. Commanders understood their forces were surrounded, but intervention was impossible. Because Ukraine had prepared not merely on land, but at sea. 2 kilometers offshore, concealed beneath the thermocline, extended a barrier of sonobuoy arrays and NATO-supplied ANSXQS-22 dipping sonars deployed from helicopters. Every submarine movement faced real-time monitoring. At 6:01 a.m., contact was established. A Kilo-class submarine maintaining 6 knots immediately became targeted. Coordinates transferred to a Bayraktar TB2 drone, which functioned as relay to the strike package positioned nearby. Response occurred immediately. 2 Ukrainian Su-27 fighter jets approached low over the waves, carrying Mk-54 airdrop torpedoes. Moments later, torpedoes entered the water, their guidance systems acquiring the submarine's acoustic signature. Within the Kilo class, alarms sounded. Crew deployed countermeasures, altered depth, and reduced speed, but weapons proved faster. At 6:04 a.m., a tremendous explosion erupted through the Black Sea. The submarine separated, a water and fire column marking its destruction. Remaining submarines dispersed, but movement revealed them further. NATO's P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft, orbiting at 20,000 feet, delivered torpedoes and depth charges with lethal accuracy. By 6:15 a.m., 3 additional submarines were destroyed. 2 were compelled to emergency surface, their crews captured by Ukrainian patrol boats. The remainder fled eastward, abandoning their mission and leaving hundreds of stranded Spetsnaz soldiers ashore without extraction. For Russia, this represented catastrophic loss. Over $1.5 billion in submarines destroyed within 20 minutes. For Ukraine, the Black Sea had become a deadly trap, not a hunting ground. Within 1 hour, Moscow's perfect strategy had completely collapsed. 12 submarines, hundreds of elite Spetsnaz naval infantrymen, and billions in equipment. Neutralized by Ukraine's integrated defense network. From $85 million sensor belts and PD-2 reconnaissance drones to BTR-4E armored flanks and NASAMS-3 air defense systems, every component functioned in perfect coordination. This engagement revealed a vital lesson. In contemporary warfare, information and accuracy can prove deadlier than overwhelming force. Stealth alone no longer ensures victory. Real-time monitoring, layered defenses, and rapid response coordination can transform even the most elite assault force into prey. For Ukraine, August 9, 2025 will be remembered as the day a seemingly invisible wall held back the deep. For Russia, it's a costly reminder that even elite units can be rendered powerless when every move is anticipated.
For the rest of the world, it's a blueprint for the future of combat, a fusion of technology, strategy, and human skill. To stay updated on naval warfare, cutting-edge military technology, and space defense developments, make sure to subscribe to Navy Space. Witness the battles shaping tomorrow today.